So I'm here with the extraordinary, legendary Kechia Matadin from Savannah, Georgia. Kechia, it is a pleasure to be in your home, and I thank you for allowing me to come into your home, your beautiful home, to interview you. Actually, you're my first person that I'm interviewing for my podcast, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for hosting me into your home. I've been to your home on many occasions, but this is the first time that I've had an opportunity to actually interview you and talk about your life. My hometown, your hometown of Seaport. And a lot of people know you as a businesswoman, one of the bosses here in Atlanta, but they don't know how you got here. They don't know where you came from. They know you from Savannah, but they don't know where you came from and how you got to the point where you are, the success you've been able to amass. We know you have 3 different restaurants, but before that, 4. Before that, how did you get started? Tell me about your restaurants.
Okay, 1 second. Shut the fuck up. All right. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that I was the first one, and out of many that you're going to interview. And I wouldn't do if anybody else could choose. Of course, it's nothing. You know, like you coming from Savannah, Georgia, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of influence around us. So for whatever reason, you know, those there's something in us that wants a little bit more. You know, how I got started in entrepreneurship. My mom had an idea about a WIC delivery truck. She saw this guy in Jacksonville, Florida, actually, who was making $12,000 a week dropping off WIC. And she said, I had a wonderful idea for you and your sister. You know, you can make a lot of money. And she told us the idea, and I'm like, yeah, sounds good to me. My sister was like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Right.
And so I told my husband in time about the idea. He's like, I don't know anything about it, but if this is what you want to do, do it. I'm not quitting my job, but I'll support you in whatever you're trying to do. And luckily, I made a lot of money.
You were ahead of me in my class, but
Barely.
but you know, I never really knew you in Savannah when we were in high school together. You don't know who's talented. Like, you can kind of see a person when you're in high school and say, okay, that's a good athlete, or that's a superior athlete, or this person is smart. But even the ones who are smart doesn't necessarily translate into being successful. Because what comes with being successful is not just smarts, but dedication, hard work. You have to have passion for it, all those things, all those ingredients.
And belief, yeah.
And belief, right? And you can't be afraid to fail. So when you growing up, you looking at other people, you say, man, they got it made. Because when I used to look, because Angela was your sister, Angie was in my class. So when I used to see Angie, she had on the Jordache jeans. What's the other jeans that we used to wear back in the day?
Sergio Valente and
right.
Gloria Vanderbilt.
Right. She had those on. I'm thinking, y'all rich. I'm like, man, you know, Angela rich as hair. But we come from the same fabric. But I didn't realize that until we got older, and I actually had an opportunity to speak with you, and you blessed me with the opportunity to represent you. So my question is that when did you know, even though you, and I don't want to tell your story, but did you come up being rich? Did you have?
Hell no. You know, I did not. You know, we were Fraser Home girls, and even with those Jordache jeans back then, we had one pair of Jordache jeans and a bunch of knockoff jeans. But back then, you can cut the label off for the jeans and sew them on to another one. Back then, the Azar shirt, you had that alligator.
Oh, that's what we go for. We cut it off the side of it.
Okay.
And sew it up.
We saw that. So we had a bunch of polos from Kmart.
And you remember those Rigoletto jeans?
No, I don't. They were too poor for me.
Okay, well, you know,
even we wanted that poor. I'm lying.
I wore the Rigoletto jeans where you can try to put it in the cleaners and get that heavy extra starch. But as soon as you walk out the house, it's still not gonna be starch.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I could afford.
I remember Rigoletto.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Was it Harold's or something like that?
It was Harold's on Home Front. Oh yeah.
So I didn't wear, you know, the designer jeans. I had to wear the Rigoletto jeans, but y'all were stepping in there.
Oh no, I had one
that y'all shared.
One pair of designer jeans. We shared the label.
Wow.
So, you know, we had an uncle, Uncle James, who worked for the longshoremen, and they had those containers. Next Uncle
Well,
James.
statute of limitation is what anyway.
Oh yeah, he's dead. So sometimes those containers, my Uncle James was like, "We got this. It's Christmas though. Right. Christmas over there." And so we go over there and get our jeans and our tracks.
Oh wow. Okay.
And and the names were non-existent on those things. Matter of fact, you look at the button, you don't know fuck that shit said on the button. But guess what? No one ever looked at the metal button. Then we saw the Jordans
Exactly.
label that we sold on the back of it. So it looked like we had like a whole horde of Jordan jeans. But my sister and I had to take turns on who's going to use the label this day as opposed to the other day. And we had to take turns on who was going to have their Azad
Right.
sold on today as
Right.
opposed to tomorrow.
Well, I used to go steal my uncle's. He had a lot of what's that thing that the cat or the shirt that was the tiger. The tiger. Right.
Le Tigre.
Right. The tiger.
Yeah.
So we used to cut that off and replace it with the alligator. What did you do after that? So once you did well with that, what was your next business venture?
Well, when the Wick did great, my husband at the time, he was able to quit his job and work with me in that business. And we got it for 6 years, and that did so well. I always wanted to get into the nightclub industry for whatever reason. I just felt like I had a calling for the nightclub. I felt like I was a very social person. I always had a lot of events at my home. People were always at the home, whatever. So because that was successful, he said, "You still wanted that club thing he was talking about?" And I said, "Hell yes." He was down for whatever. And so I found a spot on downtown Savannah on Broughton Street. It had already been built out, didn't stay open that long, but there was a phone booth in front of it. And I called because, we were looking at another property and I feel as though we were about to get shit on because we were so ignorant about
So
it.
that's a long time. You're talking about phone booths.
Oh, there's a phone booth in the front. I'm riding by, I saw it was for lease. It was something I always wanted this property, but I never knew that it could be available to me. So when I saw this one random day, I'm riding on Broughton Street and I saw available, and there was a phone booth in the front. I put my quarter in, and I called and set up an appointment to meet the owner. Back then in 1995, 96. It was $2,500, and it was a huge spot. We took it, and so my husband Prater, he was down, whatever. We already knew a lot of folks based on the delivery because we were like delivering to damn near 1,000 people a week. Okay, I might be exaggerating a little bit, but we did a lot of people a week. So our customers were our customers. So when I was on my delivery route, I would tell my customers, "Yeah, about to open a nightclub, la da 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 da." And so the grand opening was like, it was crazy. It was crazy packed, and we stayed packed until we closed it 25 years later.
What was the name of it again?
Frozen Paradise.
Yeah, everybody knows about Frozen. Everything. I think when I was in college, I think Frozen Paradise was still open, and we used to go there all the time.
Oh yes, legendary.
And so you had it open for, you said, what?
25 years.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. But a lot of people don't know the type of acts who mega acts now, and they were up and coming. The ones that you brought to Frozen. A little, young black girl, 27, 28, 29 years old,
30 years old,
bringing acts like who?
We had everybody. We were the first club in Savannah, Georgia that bought acts that actually had songs on the radio. Okay. So yes, we had the Kechias, we had the Jeezys, we had DMX, who lost 14. I paid him 14 grand. He lost all of it gambling in the back and stole someone's dog. He stole somebody's pit bull who came from South Carolina to sell him one. And he's like, let me ride around the block with him. And never came back. Oh my God, terrible. Trina, Trick Daddy, juveniles, and Cash Money I mean, we had everyone different thing. We never had Jay-Z or Puff Daddy.
Right.
But we had everyone.
Biggie.
Or them had Biggie or Tupac.
Okay.
But we had everyone else that was there. You'd be hard pressed to find anyone who had not been to Frozen at that time.
So you say DMX stole a dog?
He stole a pit bull, yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he
This was before the show or after the show?
it was after the show. He lost all his $14,000 and
Can't really get in the back of the club.
yeah, I mean, we had like a VIP room that the artists kind of chilled out in before they went on the stage. It was a patching stage. So they hit the stage, they came out of the boom. But he was back there gambling and lost, all the money.
So what's the purpose of stealing a dog? Taking a dog?
A guy wanted to sell him, he wanted to say, I sold a dog to DMX. So he bought these dogs, these pits over from South Carolina.
Gotcha.
And DMX said, well, let me ride around with it. Let's see how the dog will take to me. And never came back.
Well, that's a classic.
Oh, he sold it all.
Did y'all invite DMX back to the club?
That was our first time ever having him, first and only time.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was a good time.
Who was the most interesting that you ever had come in? Personality or for just dynamic type of performance? Someone that's stood out to you?
I can't really think of anyone. Honestly, it's like everyone was dynamic to me. Everyone had their own personalities. I mean, we had the No Limit cruise. Everyone was dynamic to me.
So how did you get these acts?
Oh Lordy. Well, now that I'm not doing it anymore, I'll tell you soon. Payola is real. Everything is real. You typically you meet people. You have to create your own little tribe of someone both to get acts, right? Because you're gonna get robbed at some point. You're gonna meet someone who says I can get this $20,000 or $50,000 act for $5,000. And you're gonna be like, oh my God, yeah, that's my cousin. Meanwhile, you handing your money over like an idiot and you don't hear from him again. So you have to get got before you have your set crew that you can trust that this is what I'm getting stuff from.
Gotcha.
So I was going through the radio stations, of course, and then I also met a lot of the managers. You meet one manager, that manager has access to other people. Plus, I had a little pipeline from Miami to South Carolina. So from Miami going on through, you had the Cool Runnings cruise. Then you had Coach that was over there in Tallahassee. Then from Florida, they were running everything up. We were all piggyback on each other because if you were a $20,000 act or say a $50,000 act, I need to get you down to 30, which means I'm gonna link a bunch of acts together. So Billy, they call from Miami or from Florida and say, hey, I got so and so and so. They're going for so and so and so, but we can get them for this if you take them over in Savannah. So now we have, let's say, 5 to 7 or 8 shows linked together. So now I got you down from 50,000 to 30. Okay. I'm gonna charge everyone at the door like I paid you 50,000 because if I didn't have my network, it would have been $50,000.
Yes.
So I got them from there. So and of course the other thing, the radio station got to get to know a program director somewhere because they're gonna hook you up. Okay, it's gonna be ugly.
So what's your most interesting story with the program director and radio?
Okay, so I brought an act. All right, with act, I can't tell you who it is, but it was a very popular song that was out. Okay, and it was like going the fuck off with shit. And I wanted this artist. Okay, but everyone, my little pipeline was saying, "Oh, this person is on cocaine, and so be careful how you send your money because they may not show out in the hotel room, people not peeking out the windows and shit. So be careful." And I'm like, okay, well, let me do my own research. I don't like to believe everything people tell me. So I'm calling. I had the number to the act. It just didn't seem right. Okay. And so I'm like,
Did he actually talk with this act?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay.
And they wanted to send. We did our contracts through it was like a FedEx place, and you had to hear those things. So I'm like, this is kind of odd because everyone else has a office that they're sending contracts through. Not going through this FedEx place that you sending shit randomly.
Right.
You in there waiting on shit to come,
Right.
and it might be the post office.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm like, this might be fucked up. I don't know about this. So it was a female, right? It was a female artist.
Right.
So I went up paying a stripper in Atlanta, Georgia, to come up and impersonate.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't trust that this was looking fuck.
Right.
So threw the stripper down, paid her $500, and she impersonated.
So did the stripper have to learn the song or something?
Yeah. I wrote the lyrics down, put the stripper in the hotel room, and just learned this song.
Right.
And
That was her.
That's all that motherfucker was supposed to do.
Right.
Put them up in the hotel room. I'll be back because you got to be pressed.
Wait a minute now.
Okay, the artist was not signed to a label yet.
Okay.
Okay.
And this was before internet, social media,
Correct.
so you didn't even have a picture of who the artist was.
Correct.
Okay.
And because they were not signed to a label, there was no video out for them. You just had
It was video. None of that.
Is it-
Instagram. None of that.
so I paid the stripper to, put in the hotel room, and she was in there.
Now, did she even look like the
I don't even know the motherfucker. I didn't know what the real person looked like. I couldn't tell you
Just
because
the song.
the song
The
was the shit.
Okay, gotcha.
So I go to get the stripper to do press at a radio station. I didn't tell anybody what I had going on.
But the radio station thought that the stripper was the original
artist.
It's the artist.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm in there like, oh,
Wait, how was the stripper acting? Was she
like,
she
it was
playing the
all-
role?
Yeah, she was doing her thing. Took her back to the hotel room. I'll be back later on the night. Pick you up for the show. We get to the club. The club is packed the fuck out. I charged them like I done paid this fucking, like I got a real artist there. That bitch packed out.
Right.
And so I put her on the stage, and once the song started, I realized that she didn't learn any of the words. Okay, I'm like, oh my God.
So
I'm over here.
So she's in the hotel room.
Probably on the phone. Talking to her
friends.
But yeah, drinking, eating, having a party.
Right. On your dime.
And I didn't get to the club, and she up there. It was a mess.
Was she lip syncing?
She was lip syncing.
But she was messing up on the lip sync?
She only knew the bridge, she only knew the main parts of
Oh, wow.
the other parts of the song. She turned her back and did booty shake. Everybody like, ah. So after her performance was done, because we only did the one song, and she had to get the fuck off the stage. We're like, stand man. I'm like, get your fucking ass, let's go. So I remember one of my customers like, man, she didn't even know her own song. But we got the fuck out of here. I'm like, oh my God. So we got our ass up out of here, and it was done. Maybe like a month later, the real artist, had gotten signed. Maybe a month or two later, we saw the video, and thank God no one remembered where.
So did you ever tell the radio promoter?
Oh, yes. So the program director came to the club because, of course, she was on his station.
Mm-hmm.
And so while we're in the VIP room, which is that same back room that DMX lost their money in, we're back there, and she about to go on stage. When she goes on stage, because she was gorgeous, you know what I'm saying? The program director was like, I'm trying to say, listen, hey, I got something to tell you. And he's like, what? I said, so that's not the real person. That's not her. So,
Oh, man.
and he shit.
I bet he did.
And that looked shit.
I bet he did.
And he's like, I'm gonna lose my job. And I said, no one don't know. Calm down.
I mean, it hit all well, right?
Oh, everything went over. He was so sick.
Now, did you ever...
But I couldn't tell him because he had to interview her like he
Right.
didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a real boss.
So let me ask you a question. Did you ever get an opportunity to go back to that same radio station?
Yeah,
Okay, so...
absolutely. I was the shit down there. Because 99% of the acts we had were like the real one. This was a random one
Right.
that the song was hot.
So the strip, did she want to hang around at the...
No, say to get the fuck out of here.
I know, but sometimes they want to hang around and meet and greet.
No, you had to get the fuck up out of there. She might have took some pictures or something. Like, that don't go on there. Like, oh, no. When it was over, I'm like, it was around.
Oh,
Took her to get something to eat, took her back to the hotel, but put on like next morning.
wow. So what made you close that, and what made you decide to come up here to Atlanta?
Well, when I came to Atlanta, it was still open.
Oh, was it?
Oh yeah, I saw that the environment was changing. 25 years somewhere. Uh, Someone says, my parents, and what are your parents? Bobby. Oh my God, the kids are in here now, and so I had to do something different because now everyone that I know, I woke up one day and saw that everyone that was my age was not here anymore. It was random, or maybe one day. Um, a friend of mine invited me to go to Chili's one day, and they had 2-for-1 drinks. We're sitting over there, and when I walked in, I saw everyone that I knew was sitting at the bar. And I'm like, what in the hell? This way y'all are? Not only were they sitting at the bar, the manager of Chili's had their names in a little metal plate in front of the chair that they were sitting in because they were coming so much that their name was on it. And so I'm like, y'all motherfuckers coming here so much that they got your name in front of y'all.
So they spending money.
Not only that, they're coming there every
Right.
day.
They're consistent. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. And so I'm like, I remember going home and telling mom, and I'm like, I gotta get out of I'm sitting in my club. I'm gonna go to the restaurant. Everyone our age is going to restaurants. They're not in the club anymore. I'm over it. And I was at that age too that I was over it. After when I opened up Frozen, I was 29, 30 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm over 5 years. Yes. I've been 20 something.
Still a long time though.
1996.
Because what's the lifespan of typically on average?
Really, it was over 25. It was over 25 years. 1996.
So what's typically the lifespan of the crop?
Honestly, I don't know. We just did what we wanted to do. We never we never cared about how long something lasted. Back then the internet was not, in 96, there wasn't no internet. So we didn't know. We can Google and say, what's the lifespan of a club? We just did what we did.
But knowing what you know now, typically when someone tries to get into that type of business, and we see all the time that clubs are open one day and they close the next day. You got celebrities now to opening clubs, and they pump all this money into it, the renovation, build out, and then within 6 months, it may be out.
Well,
There's one that I'm thinking about right now.
it's hard to say though, Barker, because it still depends on your dedication and your drive and your passion. So if you are just opening it up because you want to say, look at me at my club, it's going to show because you're going to be closed in a year or two. You see what I'm saying? If you have a passion for it, you're going to do whatever it takes to keep that business open.
Right.
And it shows.
Right. But what about location and all that kind of stuff?
Location, of course, matters.
Right.
It does matter. Location, prices, all those things. But if you have a passion for it, you would know better.
Okay.
Okay? You do your adequate research. You're not going to just go over here and be like this and the third. You would need to do your research and make the right decisions based on what you've learned. You know what I'm saying?
So you did 25 years or so down there, and then something sparked you to say, you know what, let me get out of club business, let me get into the restaurant business. You see what folks are coming in there, sitting at the bar, they're regulars. People are staying there all the time eating, and not only are they eating, but they're also drinking. Why not?
Man, I always loved Atlanta. I came to college here in '86. I got thrown out, but I always loved Atlanta. It just was so black, and everyone was so progressive, and no one seemed to be afraid to spend their money to make their dreams come true. Savannah, although I love Savannah, everyone was afraid to spend their money, but rightfully so, because there were no mentors to explain to us how to spend the money. There were no black successful restaurateurs that we knew of that was handing down restaurants, generational businesses that is so successful in the restaurant industry. I can't speak for any other industry. Maybe someone in the car industry may do something, but I don't know a lot of generational businesses that have made it once the matriarch dies. Once that one person starts it, I don't know anyone who's successful right now. Now things I've been here for 15 years, so things might have changed now. You may know a little bit more than I was.
So your first restaurant here in Atlanta, I believe it was the Daiquiri Factory.
The Daiquiri Factory on West Peachtree.
And that was in West Peachtree Street.
Yeah.
And I think the square footage was like with 2,000 square
3,000 square feet.
3,000.
2,999.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, all right. And that was the location that you chose. Why?
It was small. It was in the city.
Because your other restaurant, Frozen, was
Frozen was a club. It was huge.
right.
It was huge. And I want something that was small and just easy to fill up. And so I found that spot. I actually thought it was too small because coming from a large nightclub like Frozen and then downsizing to, and Frozen at one was 18,000 square feet. So now we're down to 29.99. So, well, 18,000 square feet. Well, yes, sir. Now downsizing to 29.99.
Right.
I looked in the window. I'm like, oh, this is too small. I wanted something small, but in my mind, not that small. So one day I'm back in Savannah, Georgia, and a friend called and said, oh my God, I found a perfect spot. It's on West Peachtree Street. I already knew what it was. I'm like, yeah, you talking that spot used to be that Italian joint and it's right there, blah, 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 between 7 and 8. And he was like, yeah. And so him calling me made me go back and take a second look. Let me look at this again. Looked in the window. I'm like, it's small, but you know what? It might be workable. And I had no idea that it was going to make the impact that it did in 2010.
So how long did you have the Daiquiri Factory?
8.5 years. A developer, cousins, bought the entire block, and they paid me out of lease.
Okay. But at the same time, though, didn't you started the renovation or so, or the build out for Cirque?
Yes, actually, Cirque was actually open. Opened Cirque in 2015, so I opened that in 2010, so 5 years later. So I did a renovation at Cirque probably like 2013, because it took maybe end of 2013. It took almost over a year actually, to build Cirque out because it was in such horrible condition.
So why'd you call it Cirque?
It was round. Cirque means round. I had all these ideas: sphere, supple, round. The ball. But I looked into the thesaurus and found out what is another word for round. And I saw Cirque, and I'm like, that's it right there. It's different.
Okay. Now, in the Cirque, with the building was initially, I think I recall it being, it was a bank of America or something was in there.
It was a trust company bank.
Trust company. Okay, I knew it was some kind of bank. I thought you got it from like Cirque du Soleil. Okay, all right. So
Which is also another circus that's in the round.
Right. So that's why I always thought that's where you got it from. So you opened up Cirque while you also had the Daiquiri Factory open. At one point, Cirque was your baby, right?
Yeah. But now I'm proud the factory.
Is it still your baby?
It's always gonna be my baby. Will always be my baby.
Because now you have Blue.
Add Blue.
Right. So Cirque, what's the delicacy in terms of the food and things like that today? For Cirque, because I know the menus are different, right?
Right. Well, Cirque started out as a seafood because, coming from Savannah, Georgia, we are very seafood oriented. It did well. It did fantastically. But people love the seafood so much, and Cirque's kitchen was very small. So I wanted something a little larger. We can expand on the menu. That's where Blue came from, dedicated to everything seafood. Unfortunately, I kind of forgot about Cirque during that time, and Cirque kind of suffered a bit when I'm over here with the fantastic, fabulous Blue.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
so Blue was like the mistress.
Yeah, until she became the main.
Right. She took over.
I left home.
So you opened up Blue, and at some point, I think, if I can recall, the Daiquiri Factory closed it out because I think somebody bought it.
Yeah, cousins.
So then you had Cirque, and then you had Blue, right? And you opened up 2 other restaurants, right? 2 other Daiquiri.
Yeah, I reopened the Daiquiri Factory, one in Stockbridge and one in on Howard Mill up the street from here,
Okay.
Western Town.
So now you're talking about 4 restaurants.
Yeah, it's kicking my ass right now, wearing my ass out.
Yeah, but everybody can't do that then. So what made you decide, you know what, I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone, and where I'm initially focusing on one restaurant, now I'm focusing on 4. And how difficult is that?
It's difficult because I mean the curious and the odd thing about entrepreneurship is like once you start winning, you think you will always win. I think the worst thing I ever did was open up additional restaurants. I should have just kept one, maybe 2, because my focus was all over the place. I'm thinking that okay, I'm a god, I'm making this amount of millions of dollars over here. I can double it over here, and I can quadruple it, and that's not how it goes. You know, yeah, but like literally, it has to be so tight for you to make that kind of money that I think that most of us are not prepared for it. I mean, once again, we had no mentors.
Right.
So we're out here flying by the seat of our pants thinking that, oh my God, I did 6 million over here, I can up. And then I saw, oh my God, I got that half.
Right. Well, speaking of
$1 million.
speaking of not having any mentors,
Oh yeah.
a lot of Black folks don't have mentors. Like we don't have family members or dads or mothers or grandfathers or grandmothers or whatever who are in any type of business, restaurant. I'm in law practice, you know, so I'm like the first. So you're like the first. I mean, how big is Blue? Blue's probably one of the biggest.
Blue's the largest Black-owned restaurant in the city. It was something I wanted, you know, because, you know, being under that high rise, you know, they don't offer those to us.
Right.
Okay. Of course. You know, I got in there, but somebody white had to help me get in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My credentials were great, but I remember the look on the folks' faces when I pulled up and my blank ass getting up out of there and a Black woman is there. I saw them, the smiles were frozen like,
Like, who the hell is this? Like, yes, Kechia. But they should have known by Kechia, the name.
now, sir, I had a bid in on sir initially. I had a bid in, and they chose to go with someone else. Meanwhile, my credentials spoke for itself, but once again, being an African American female, they chose some guys to go in there who tore it up and never even opened up. So, although I lost the bid, once the guys tore it up,
So these were men?
there's some guys that went in there. They tore it up, renovation, they ran out of money. So the leasing agent circled back to me and said, hey, you still interested in it? I get the leftovers. Okay, at least I was.
Right then.
And I'm like, of course. I went in there and it was a piece of shit. They tore it up. I said, so I was in to negotiate for cheaper rent. So although I was the second last girl, or the second thought, how about that? I was able to go in there, negotiate some very cheap rent because it was a piece of shit by the time they got done with it and they ran out of money. You know, I built it out and everything as FERC is and was because I believed it, and I believed that my customers would support it. They'd like something like this. I just hate the fact that sometimes we don't believe in ourselves, and that kind of bleeds into, you know, or kind of underscores the fact that a lot of people don't believe in us either. We don't even believe in ourselves. So why should the whites believe in us or anyone believe in us? Right. But I always believe in us. Right. And that's why I've been able to make it as far as I have. Now, there's always, everything that goes up must come down. Okay? And Lord knows, we are all on the downside of this right now with the economy being the way it is. You know, they're not talking about a recession. Everyone I know in the restaurant industry is struggling their ass off. You know, people are lying on them, but they doing well. I'm like, why are you lying? They ain't gonna believe you anyway. Might as well tell the truth and say you fucked up. Right. I'm doing fucked up. I'm over here trying to do everything I can to keep these bitches up and going. Right. But you know what?
Right.
It is what it is.
One of the things I wanted to ask you is what advice would you give a young woman who is trying to get into whatever vocation, whatever industry, and if you want to talk particularly about restaurants, or, you know, if women that want to get into fashion, they want to get into videography, they want to get into, you know, hacking or whatever, right? What advice would you give a young woman?
Just believe in yourself and don't wait on anyone to do anything for you. That's it. Believe in yourself and don't wait on anyone to do it for you. People are going to offer to do these things, create a website for you. If it's not happening within a particular time, do it on your own. Okay? Believe in yourself. Believe you can do it on your own.
When you say, for example, somebody say create a website and they taking their time doing it, are there other things where you relied on people or where they come to you and say, oh, we can give you the move, we can do all this for you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I realized that, they were able to do things to a certain extent. They had their own lives, and at some point, whatever I needed was on the background. And so, in order for me to be successful, I had to take the bull by the horn and do it myself. That's it. Because you cannot, what they say, in God we trust. That's it.
So
Everybody has paid cash.
what made Kechia Matadin to Kechia Matadin today?
Wins and losses. Okay? With every win, you become more confident in, oh my God, I could do this. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. The losses humble you so you can know that the win is not, is not forever. Once again, everything that goes up goes down. It's about how you handle the wins and the losses. Are you gracious with the win? Are you gracious with the loss? You see what I'm saying? Are you humble with the win? Are you mad at the loss? How are you? Coming from a city like Savannah, Georgia, where we're from, you can't be arrogant or an asshole, because guess what? They're gonna know your last name.
That's right.
And they're
gonna know your people. Right. Who your people? What's your last name? Oh, I know your people.
Killing. Oh, I know your folks. So you cannot be an asshole in Savannah, Georgia, but I'm talking about it. You can lose all of your visits in 2 weeks.
That's right.
Okay? And so that upbringing that we had allowed us to be humble enough that we can come to a larger city like Atlanta and still have the compassion and the humbleness that we need to appeal to other people, for people to like us enough to be like, what about you? But it's like, we're no different. Just that we came from a town that it made it hard for you to be an asshole.
Well, the thing about it is not, and I always say this to you when we just talking, people look at you. You're sitting at the reserve table. You are socializing with customers and friends and, laughing and all that kind of stuff. And then someone will look at you and say, hell, I want to be just like her. And because she makes it look easy. What you do?
But meanwhile,
What you do? You make it look easy.
but they don't even know why the reserve table exists. The reserve table exists because I don't trust my bartender. I gotta be sick somewhere that I can walk these motherfuckers. They don't give away drinks.
Right.
Meanwhile, they look at the reserve table. That's the owner's on right there.
Right.
Yes, it's mine.
Right.
But that's for me to watch everyone around. There's gonna be an area that I can watch everybody.
Right. But see, I never
What the
knew
hell
that.
you doing?
I never knew that's about the result.
Excuse me. What the fuck you doing?
See, I didn't know.
That drink?
I didn't know that. Well, listen, Kechia, this has been a blast for me. Again, I really appreciate you welcoming me in your home. I've been here numerous times.
Absolutely. I love you.
But allowing me to interview you, this is my absolute first one. And you and I have talked about this so many times, doing this. And you actually came through, so I appreciate that. So,
Absolutely.
so to Savannah, and to much success and much love, my sister. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby.